It is
Yeah.
just overwhelming.
All right, so some people are going to come on later and some are just coming on now. So let's just, we'll just hang in there and see whoever pops on.
Yeah, well, more people are joining, so that's good.
That'd be good.
And,
All right, so there's Jack. I see Jack signed on. I just got off.
Hey,
the call with
guys.
Randy.
Hey, Jack.
How you doing?
Great to see you guys.
We're all here. Jack, were you the one who told me about Chuck Rounds?
Chuck,
No,
I did.
I told you about Larry, excuse
Sherwin?
me, not,
I
Yeah.
did. Chuck's supposed to
Bill
join
Lohr,
us
I told
today.
you about.
He said he was going to try to be part of this.
Okay,
He's been taking different doctors. He's supposed to start the regimen of radiation he's got bladder cancer, or prostate cancer, excuse me. And they're starting the test, but he's been from one doctor to another doctor to another doctor, but his spirits seem to be pretty good. And so I think his first treatment, that there's like 40 some treatments.
Oh, my God.
That's what they do.
20,
7?
29, 28, something like that. I had prostate cancer.
He told me there was 40 something for him. And so whatever it is, it's every week and then every other week and so on down the line type of thing. But he seems to be in good spirits.
Yeah, Sherwin, who are we talking about?
Chuck Rounds.
Wow. Yeah, I talked to him just before the reunion and he didn't mention anything. He seemed to be in good spirits. I think he lives in North Carolina, something
Yeah,
like
he
that.
does, in a small town about 20 minutes from the South Carolina border in the Appalachia. He likes the remote area and he seems to be happy. Him and his wife never had any children, so it's the two of them. They spend time chasing animals around the neighborhood and things of that nature. And, he seems to be, comfortable in his lifestyle, which is good.
Yeah, I'll say.
Go ahead. Sorry, Larry.
you just finish up.
No, I would just say, I was about to say, we had just come back in mid-February from being down at in the west coast of Florida and in the Naples area. Got on the plane, flew back, and my wife and I both contracted the virus.
Oh,
And we believe it's from the plane, not the airport, because the guy sitting next to her, we're sitting across each other in the aisle. And kept taking off his mask. He had sniffles, he sneezed. So, either he had a cold or he was a spreader. My wife, who's got autoimmune disorder, felt it a lot worse. Me, I didn't even know I had it, literally. And so you do it. You take, and that was, we each had our not only a booster, we had the full dose, because at the time we took it, they didn't split the dose in half. They gave us a full dose. So we were over vaccinated, but it still didn't protect us fully. But we're both doing fine now, thank God. It's scary.
So let's just kind of go around the group that we've got here and see what people are doing. Now, Sherwin, you're working full time still?
No, I retired 3 years ago. What I'm doing now is I have my securities license. So I'm helping some people doing financial planning, not investment, but how to plan out and let the people who know what the hell they're doing invest. Otherwise, and then I'm helping a couple of accounting firms with what they call quality control review. My firm, January 2nd, merged with another firm out of Madison, Wisconsin, and they changed the name. So after having my name on the door since 1978, it's kind of sad, but it's the progress of life. And, trying to stay active. I'm in a couple of senior groups where we play canasta, we play golf. There's book clubs, there's investment clubs, just to keep the mind going. And when you've worked all your life, and I'm sure all of you have experienced it, suddenly not working and not using productivity, if you don't fill it with things, every day is 5 days long. So that's where I'm at right now.
Are you still living in Northbrook?
Yep. My wife won't give up the house. This is where she raised the kids. And I'm still crawling up the stairs. But, go fight City Hall. She designed the house and she raised the kids. It was her life. She never had worked for a living. So, but you have still kids up here, don't you, Larry?
So yeah, so I've been living in the Phoenix area, in the northwest corner of Phoenix, in a town, a village called Peoria, actually named after a general from Peoria, Illinois, who moved up to Arizona here. At any rate, yeah, so we've been here and we're living in a community called Trilogy at Vistancia. It's a planned, what they call active adult community. So it's got golf, it's got bocce, it's got hiking, it's got
Oh, that's great.
pools, it's got pickleball, about 100 clubs. So, it's really interesting. It's got big Illinois club, people who moved out here from Illinois, and
Mhm.
California club and Oregon club.
All right, I will talk to you later. Have a good evening.
Okay, my wife.
And so, yeah, I've got a son who's still living in Palatine, Illinois. And
So I
actually,
have one too in Palatine.
he's getting married in May for the
Oh,
second time, but hopefully
very
the
nice.
time goes better. I've got a son living in Rochester, New York, and he's got two little girls. And so we see them about once a year. They'll come out here, and we're not going out there in the winter, but we may come out there in the summertime. When he first moved out there, he had been in school in LA and in Jerusalem for the last 2 years before that. And the first time he got a job, and it was in Rochester, New York, and they had 132 inches of snow the first winter.
Oh, God.
Quite an awakening for
So
him.
is he still trying to dig himself out?
He's learned how to do it. He likes the location. It's a
Okay,
small
that's
town.
all it counts.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be a lot more to it when Eastman Kodak was the big manufacturer there, but since they went away, there's not that much going on. But
How's your
we're
wife
doing
doing?
well. I live with my wife up here, and we've we just met a bunch of new people here, and just taking advantage of everything we can. And knock on wood, again, I don't have to shovel heat, and I don't have to ice the sunshine. So even though it starting in May gets about 100 here, the humidity is still about 10%. So it doesn't get really strong until probably around August and September, when it can get over 115. But then we get monsoon season here, and last year we had a lot of rain and stuff like that. So it's interesting, but clearly I don't miss the cold. In fact, it's so interesting. When we first came down here, it was 52 degrees, and I was wearing shorts and t-shirts, and this guy comes to fix some plumbing, and he's from Michigan. He's wearing Ugg boots, a glove, scarf, and a hat, and a down coat. I said, "What's the matter?" He says, "You too will get here."
Hi, Randy.
And sure enough, it gets 70 degrees now. I'm putting coats on and things like that.
Yeah.
How about you,
Yeah.
Gene? How long you been in California? How'd you adapt? What are you doing?
I moved here in 1985, Larry, from Chicago Metro. I lived in Lake Barrington for 7 years, and from Wisconsin originally, as many of you know, and still have lots of friends in Northern Illinois, Chicago Metro, Wisconsin. Don't get back quite as often as I'd like, but still get back periodically. Have a son that went to school in California and then went to work for NASA in Houston. So he's a real strong in the computer science area, and he's since left NASA, but got a good background anyway. He's 33 years old, and I'm still working in employee benefits, group health. I've actually been, of course, do work mostly in California, but actually been licensed in both Nevada and Arizona for over 20 years. And I work with individual health, group health, small groups of 2 to 100 employees, Medicare supplements for those that are at or approaching age 65, which we can all relate to. And
65.
what's that? Yeah. So I enjoy it. I don't work as hard as I used to, but it's a relationship business. I can't really sell the business for all that much. So I just, I service the clients, make sure I keep in touch, and just work maybe 30 hours a week, or varies, week to week. So and I still golf, play once or twice a week, and for most, I think I golfed on the NIU golf team for 4 years, and I went to college on a golf scholarship back when. So that's kind of an update for me, Larry. Thank you for asking.
So it's, when you come out, we'll have a West Coast golf outing. We'll do it near you or Jack or something like that, and have
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I think rather than going to DeKalb, we'll do it in San Diego or something like that.
Good idea. Good idea.
You all
How
stay
about
at
you,
Tony's place.
There
I
you
gotta
go.
schlep my clubs all the way up.
You can rent them. You can rent them.
Oh, okay.
I'll just bring a croquet mallet.
All
That's
right,
the
so
right attitude.
Jeff, why don't you tell us about how long have you worked or been off? What's your life there? And where you
Um,
living now?
I'm living in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, we moved out here 35 years ago for what was supposed to be a 6-month deal, and it just kind of ballooned from there. I'm semi-retired, spending most of my time taking care of Sandy and making sure she gets therapy and all the other things. I've been doing a little work for a couple friends of mine that have been very successful as developers and finding properties and help them structures the deal and all the stuff that doesn't need to be full-time in an office. So but that's what we're doing. Otherwise, we're a pretty boring life. Can't go do a whole lot of things because can't leave her home. I can't take off overnight to do something because gotta make sure she's taken care of.
So how's the weather now at this time of year? Is this good for Salt Lake?
It's 62 right now, I think. But it's supposed to rain in the valley and snow in the mountains tonight. And it'll be in the 40s the rest of the week and then 65 on Saturday. So we're in that period of time where it's really nice and bad and nice and bad.
Sounds like
So-
Colorado.
Sounds like Chicago.
We don't get that cold.
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
Welcome. So Bill, tell us where you're living at and what you've been up to.
Well, I live in Boise, Idaho. We moved here my wife and I moved here in 78. And I retired from the VA hospital. I was a registered nurse there. And my wife retired from St. Luke's, which is one of our local hospitals. We met in nursing school. And we don't have any kids. We forgot. I mean, one day we just said, oh my God, we forgot to have kids. Oh, well. And
I like that, Bill.
I skied for quite a few years. I skied in Utah a lot. We had a condo at Snowbird, and then we sold that. And my wife cross country skis mainly now. She's traveled with her friends all over the world cross country ski racing, and I'm into model trains. In fact, I'm in my train room right now, and I build train models.
Oh, can you show us
Very nice.
around?
Can I show you around? Okay, let me
Yeah.
see what I can come
Yeah,
up with here.
Amtrak.
That's
Choo-choo.
oh my God, you
Oh, yeah.
you literally have the whole room.
Yeah.
So what's
Look
the-
at all
what's
those
the
guys
scale
from
of these?
Ukraine.
What's the scale of these?
This is 1/4 inch to the foot, sometimes called O scale.
Yep.
And I built an outbuilding to hold. all my
Oh,
trains.
wow.
This is scratch built.
Oh,
Yeah, this is all
wow.
scratch built.
Unbelievable.
And some
Did all
national
the
awards.
buildings as well?
Yeah, all
Nice.
the buildings are scratch built.
Wow, amazing.
I
That's
feel
a
like
lot of
I'm
trade.
looking at Illinois.
I want to live there.
Actually, this is Canada.
It is. What part of
Yeah,
Canada?
this is Alberta.
Mhm.
Canada Pacific Railroad.
Very, very nice.
Did
a
you
great
just start
job.
that when you got out there? Or were you always a train guy?
I've always had a come and go interest in trains, but it really started after I got married and got working and things like that, and actually had some income. Then it really took a bigger hold.
Income.
What's that?
Yeah. Fred, how you feeling? Most important. Fred, can you hear me?
And
Yeah. How are you feeling?
At the moment, oh, hi. So far, so good. I've had some heart problems here most recently and blood clotting problems, which really got the cardiologist's attention completely, you know, but no, I'm supposed to be in line for some kind of rejuvenation with the heart. I've already had 3 operations here in the last year and a half or so. And I am assuming I've got 2 more to go. But to be honest with you, at the moment, I'm feeling fine enough to say yes to golf on June 25th. And anyway, we'll see what happens.
Well,
But,
Fred, we're switching it. We're moving the golf tournament to San Diego.
Be right back.
It's gonna be a little bit more of a drive for you. More of a drive. So Fred, why don't you tell everybody where you're living at and how your life is and career has gone so at this point?
Retired just before the pandemic hit, after 50 years of professional education service. Graduated as a professor emeritus at Western Illinois University. Shockingly, I found myself, like I've shared with Mike and Randy most recently, I was called by the board of directors at NIU to be provost.
Whoa.
Unbelievably.
That mean you lead the parade?
Yeah, and wave the flag and buy a husky. And it was just unbelievable. But no, it was just in charge of student governance. And I had to submit my papers last month, and Laura looked at me and she said, how do you want to start a new career at the age of 75? But also I've had an opportunity to teach at Oxford in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
Here for the summer thing, I've had to say no to it because the heart is dictating the terminology of my life at the moment. But no, I'll be honest with you, it's been a hard retirement because I love working with students in the classroom. I love education. We'll see where things go. To be honest with you, I miss all of you guys. I've told so many stories about the Beta Phi house and the Sigma Nu house over and over and over again that I've had people say, you ought to write a book. And I said, well, it would obviously need multiple authors because there's so many perspectives to join in. But
Especially if you've been drinking for a while, you can't remember whether you were at the house or not.
Well, that's why we come together here today, so that we can try to remember things that we're not sure actually happened.
What was your name? Yeah, what was your name again? I'm teasing.
All right, how about you, Tom? Why don't you tell us where you're at and how your life has moved and what your career is at? So,
I'm at a place called Victory at Dorado, which is part of the city of Buckeye, just really 30 minutes from your house.
Yep.
Pretty close, and it's got all the same stuff. Pickleball, where there's more people in the hospital from playing pickleball than anything else, and bocce ball, which I don't understand even one little bit. Roll, people love it, but I don't get it. And a nice health club and a lot of different clubs. I'm in charge of the Coin and Stamp Collectors Club. I was a coin collector for many years, and my goal was to get one example of every coin ever authorized to be issued by the United States government, everything that circulated in the colonies and the coinage we made for our possessions. And I told my wife, I'm down to 3 coins. That's all I need, just 3.
Wow.
Wow, that's incredible.
Before I die, I want to get those 3. And after I kick the bucket, send it to Stacks and Bowers in New York or Heritage or wherever and just sell the whole thing. I don't care when I'm dead. I don't care. But I'd like to get the last 3. But they're, as you can imagine, they're very difficult to find, and they're scary expensive. So I bid on them, and then it's like the last one I bid an X number of dollars, and it went for like 300,000.
Oh, geez.
So anyway, just interesting to hear about Chuck Rounds living in North Carolina and he and his wife chasing animals around. I think that was
He seems
cool.
to be very happy, Tom.
I lived in Northeast Arkansas for 32 years and had hogs and cattle, and that back to the land stuff from the 70s and 80s. And I've had a lot of wild cows take a dump on my head when I'm trying to milk them, and
Yeah, well, he has a very interesting story. Because he fell out of off the map for a lot of
Oh, yeah.
years.
Mhm.
And I was like, we shared the room together. We were best friends, and he disappeared. And then I finally found out it was kind of a sad story, but apparently his father got sick over a holiday, and he had to quit school. Father got better. He got drafted, and he spent a couple tours in Vietnam and came back, and then went to Holy Trinity College in Lake County here, and met his wife. They moved to Minneapolis, but nobody heard from him.
Mhm.
He never reached out, couldn't find him anywhere. Finally tripped across him and reconnected about three and a half years ago. And I asked the question because, why no communication? And he said something that I've heard from a couple of other people I know that were Vietnam veterans, that when they were there and then came back, they felt like they were villains because the way the press had gone after American presence in Vietnam, and he didn't want to talk to anybody. He didn't want to have to talk to friends and tell them what he saw, what he experienced, what he did. And he sort of said, okay, I'm going on with my life separately. And I don't think his story is anywhere alone to him. It's to a lot of vets, apparently.
Yeah.
But it was sad to lose contact with somebody you're so close with for almost 50 years, had no contact.
I had a friend who went to Vietnam, came back with 2 bronze stars, threw them in the bottom drawer of his dresser and never spoke about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That seems to be.
Yeah.
And one of the guys I had lunch with the other day was in the Navy there on the Mekong, got 2 Purple Hearts. Now he's being flown to Washington on a private plane where they're honoring these veterans. So it'll be about 30, 50 people for one day to give them.
Freedom flights or something they call them.
Yeah, that's what it is, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
to him,
I
it's a
work
very
at
special
this,
occasion.
I work at this, I'm a docent at this World War II, Air Museum in Southern California. So I meet a lot of vets. And, I found that, my dad, who was also a vet, and most of the guys I've met are World War II vets. They don't want to talk about it either.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like a common denominator for, men who've, had to, be in combat. And, it changes you.
Yeah,
And there are
it's-
things
it's-
that maybe you have to do that you would never do under ordinary circumstances.
Mhm.
And then it becomes a part of you and you just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think you're on target there.
Mm.
It's sad, but it is reality. Larry, I think, one of the things, it looks like we only have 9 guys, and that seems like a very small attendance. In addition to keep talking now, I think we should look to sometime in April, get it coordinated and do it again, get everybody together. I'm surprised Mike Bortles not on because he said it was going to be on.
Well, again, they may come on in another half
Yeah.
hour. That's
Okay.
what I'm thinking.
Well, unfortunately, at 5, I got to jump off because
Okay.
we're being picked up,
Well,
but
let's
I apologize.
continue going around. Jack, why don't you give us a little history of where you're at and how you got there and what you're doing now?
Oh, okay. Well,
Did we finish
I
now?
graduated in 69 and in June and in October of 69, I was on my way to the West Coast to be in the Marine Corps. So that changed everything for me. And I was a reservist, so I never went over to Westpac. But I did love California when I got out here. And I started working when I got out. I started working for Pete Marwick as an accountant. Met my wife on my first day of work at my first client. And, everything's been awesome since then. I really got into, I'm kind of an outdoors sort of guy. And so I got into backpacking and camping in a big way. I've had like 25 trips into the Sierras. I climbed Kilimanjaro in Africa. Went down to Peru and went to Machu Picchu but I'm kind of past that now. Honestly, I'm too old to carry this stuff anymore.
Well, you
And
hire
but I'm sorry?
That's why you hire people to carry this stuff for you.
That's right. That's right. And that's what we did in both of those countries I mentioned. You know, we had, like when we went to Machu Picchu, we had, there were 12 of us and we had 40 guides and porters. And so that was pretty often, you know, but it still just beat the shit out of me. That's for sure.
So you climbed
and-
through the valleys and mountains to Machu Picchu?
Yeah, a lot of them.
I took
all
the
high
easy route
places.
to it.
Yeah, I took the
I'm
bus.
sorry?
I took the
The
bus.
easy route,
Yeah,
the bus.
well, we walked up there.
Cool view.
That was kind of our thing. We like to hike and it was pretty awesome and just, you know, kind of see it, you know, from that point of view. And the Inca people loved the high places and they had these constructions all over the place. And we went through a lot of them on our way into Machu Picchu. So it was pretty cool.
Did you see they built, I forgot what they call it. It was out of various plants and they had like floating islands. And if somebody was a bad guy, they cut them loose and let them float down the river to another thing. But that's
Oh, you mean, are you
really
talking about
impressive.
Titicaca? I know they have
Yeah.
some floating islands.
In that
out
area,
there.
in that area, I forgot the name of the islands, the type of islands they were, but
Yeah.
I don't know,
Very
Randy, that was a
interesting.
pledge task, wasn't it?
yep. Yeah.
They did a
Sure.
walkout. They did a walkout.
But you know, Machu Picchu, there's some, I heard, I don't know if it's true, because it's about 10 years since we've been there, that they were going to preclude people go walking. They were going to build air carts to go over the island because they were wearing down the whole facility. So I don't know if that happened or not, but this
Wow.
Hmm.
this
Yeah,
was
I
about
hadn't
8
heard
years
that.
ago that we were there, and then about 2 years after that, we heard they were going to build that.
Yeah.
island.
So
Well,
anyway, just to-
Jack, you should have got married to a Sherpa.
no kidding. Well, fortunately, I made a good decision there because a Sherpa I couldn't have kept up with. You know how that goes. So anyway, now I got 5 grandkids. One of my sons lives in Taiwan. He works for Google. He's heading up a team over there. They love it. And you know, my other son lives in Costa Mesa. We're big baseball guys together. We usually head to Arizona for spring training, and I think we're not going to make it this year because everything's abbreviated. But I consider myself to be very fortunate, and I did when I showed up at the reunion and seen all you guys. It made me really miss how the fact that, you know, our relationships, you know, with you guys kind of got truncated. You know, when I went off to California and really never came back, I thought about you guys a lot, but you know, you don't have that kind of day-to-day relationship, you know, because you were all in the area, and I'm sure you guys had get-togethers that I would have loved to have been at. But you know, it was great for me to go to that reunion and to see all you guys and meet some new people I hadn't met before, like Gene, for instance. And anyway, you know, life is good. I've been very fortunate, and I hope to stay fortunate for the next 10 years or so.
Sounds good.
Just 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years is probably enough. I mean, the way I'm forgetting things now, I mean, after 10 years, I think I've done anyway.
Hi, Randy,
They
why don't
tell
you
me
give
that
us
it'll come back, the memories eventually.
Yeah.
Randy, give us the update on you guys.
Did you finish Yancey?
I don't know, Tom, what else you got you wanted to share with us?
Well, my wife died in 2016. She had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Hmm.
And I actually met the girl that I worked with when I taught at Northern, the year that I was in the special ed department, and she was the speech therapist. And we met again and ended up getting married in 2019. And she loves to travel. And of course, COVID has been a real mess, but we've made it to Antarctica, Australia,
Wow.
Ireland. We've been to Argentina and various other places. She still needs, her last continent is Africa. And I've only been to Egypt, so that hardly counts as Africa. So we want to go, but I don't know, with this business, if you test positive for COVID before the plane takes off, you lose your whole trip. So we'll work on that. Let's see, raised hogs and cattle in Northeast Arkansas. That was the back to the land experience. That was really interesting. But when I saw the list of brothers who have passed away, I mean, I was really sad to see John Farnetti on that list and
Yeah.
Barney Kaczynski.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and I couldn't even imagine, you know, I knew about a few of them, but then I started thinking about the guys that we haven't heard from in years, like Bob McGee. And I just thought of Harry Floyd today. Remember Harry Floyd?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got drafted. I mean, he got drafted right out of school. And I never heard another word about him.
Has anybody heard about Phil Castro at all?
Wilt Castro?
Wilton?
Yeah.
I
He-
know,
I know he's up in San
Phil Castro, I
Francisco.
meant.
I heard.
Yeah, we heard from him when we were putting together the reunion. He's alive and well in California.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in California because he had been originally in Pennsylvania. I think.
no, he's lived in the San Jose area, I think it is, for
Oh.
quite a while now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is he a
actually-
lawyer or something?
He
Mhm.
actually,
Mhm.
he was a partner with Chuck Copleson's brother at
Oh.
one point.
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
yeah,
Well, these are all names from the past.
Yeah. Tom, do you remember the last time you and I saw each other?
Yeah, at the Husky game in Mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile.
And we-
20
Yeah,
the GoDaddy Bowl.
I attended NIU, but I also attended Arkansas State, got some graduate credits there. And so I had attended both schools, and my oldest son had graduated from ASU. So we decided we'll go to the bowl game. And I'm staying at, I forget what hotel it
It
was.
was a Hampton. It was a Hampton. It wasn't the primary hotel because we couldn't get in there because we didn't.
Yeah. And I walked
Somebody
past.
got their hands over my eyes. Guess who?
Yeah, and he had no idea who I was. I just said, "This is State of 8 of 34."
Yeah, we, so you had bought some NIU shirts and stuff and you wanted to sit on the NIU side just to piss off your sons or something.
Yeah. Well, he was doing all kinds of smack on and sending me messages, you know, because they started off and they were ahead like 12 or 13 to nothing or
It's
something.
like 20 to nothing at
Even
halftime.
20, something like that. And we scored like the next 31 points. He was so pissed. He was really upset.
Yeah, and then we did some sightseeing the next day and it was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot
Well,
of fun.
was it 12 years ago?
Yeah.
2011.
Oh my God. The time just goes like crazy.
No kidding.
Absolutely. That's why when I went and re-met Mary Ann, who I had worked with at Northern, we went out to dinner and I just said, "Oh yeah, you're born in Chicago, right?" She says, yeah, me too. And she said, "Well, you born in November?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Yeah, me too." "Well, where were you born?" "St. Anne's Hospital in Chicago." She says, "Yeah, me too." "Well, who is your doctor?" She said, "Hawkins." I said, "Yeah, me too." Turns out we were babies in the nursery together back in 1947.
Wow.
We worked together at Northern in 1969-70, and then we each went our own way and then came back and got married in 2019.
Hmm.
Then we go to Ireland because her family's from Ireland. My mother's side of the family's from Ireland. Find out from the same county in Ireland. And that's where we stopped because we're probably related.
Too late now.
Yeah, too late. Well, all our kids are going to be born with, 6 arms and 3 heads.
Yeah.
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 Good luck with that.
But you were an accountant by trade, right?
A what?
Accountant, bean counter?
Certified financial planner.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, close
That
enough.
was, I liked it. I really liked it. I had about 500 clients. And what was good is because I had raised hogs and cattle, I learned a lot about farming and a lot about what it costs and how to maximize your deductions. I taught them how to save back their heifers and change bulls rather than selling your cows. Or you sell your cows to keep your heifers rather than selling the heifers, which are ordinary income. And so we did a lot of that.
Male animals were like kind exchanges, but a male for a female was not considered.
That is right. And the animals and cattle held for draft dairy breeding or sporting purposes for 24 months, all that kind of stuff. But it was fun. You really get to know the people. I knew them really well. And we would do the planning in August through the end of the year. When they came in for their returns, we already knew what the answer was going to be. And I think it was just really good. I think it was a really good business to be in. The sad thing is I wanted to do my last year and say goodbye to everybody because I was going to be moving. And my wife got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer right in the middle of tax season. And so I had to become a cancer expert and get her into a clinical trial. And that was very, very stressful.
Yeah, I can
That must have
imagine.
been difficult.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the worst cancer diagnosis there is stage 4 pancreatic. There's not much of anything.
Yeah.
I've been to 3 funerals in the last week and a half. 2 of the 3 were pancreatic cancer. And one was, gee, I had 22 different diseases. But this is what's going on. And just, you don't know what to say to people.
Yeah.
You know that the people that gather are there to support the family.
Yeah, there's
The
nothing.
last one I was at, there was 160 or 170 people at the chapel paying their respects and supporting the family. And it was just such an emotional thing. I walked out of there, felt like I was going to break up and cry.
Yeah.
So my friend said, no, we're all going to get together and celebrate their lives. So that's what we're going to do in a month.
But we had a great time at the reunion. I think, Randy
Yeah.
really pulled that all together, and everybody chipped in a little bit and gave some of their time and effort. And strange people were there that changed completely. I was surprised. Most guys.
Tony?
No, not Tony for sure, but
Tony.
Tom. Tom, I forget Tom's last name.
O'Connell?
Pardon?
O'Connell?
O'Connell,
You
yeah.
mean Yancey?
No, Tom O'Connell. I thought he was a pretty straightforward kind of quiet guy in school, and ended up being a pilot in the war.
And captain of Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
He was a Marine also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, really an
Still a
interesting
Marine.
career. Yeah.
I saw him.
Lippert showed
2
up at
months.
the last minute with no mustache.
No mustache, no hair, no anything.
Larry, what's going on with you?
So, I'm doing well here in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. I'm learning to enjoy the football team here and the basketball team. That's for sure. Yeah, how about those Bears getting rid of Khalil Malik, or what his name?
Khalil Mack.
Big
William Mack.
Yeah, that's interesting. Of course, the Arizona papers here had it right. You can't go to any Arizona game, hockey, football, basketball, or baseball, and have Arizona fans there. It's all people from out of town. So we went to a Cubs Diamondbacks game, and they had the kiss cam couldn't find an Arizona couple to kiss together. They were all Cub couples. It's crazy. And talk about spring training. You talk about coming down. They just started selling tickets for the games this week for spring training. Yeah, it's just, living down here, they had the lockouts before, you thought, oh, those players, they'll get their money, and you're never worried about anybody else. But being down here in Arizona, you see these cities that put in millions of dollars of infrastructure, and restaurants, and people's jobs. And when spring training's not here, the Cubs bring in 250,000 people during the season. And these towns now, they had nothing going on. So they've lost half of spring training, and baseball doesn't care at all about them. And it's amazing. We really rely on the resort. So you guys all come on down for the last spring training.
Yeah. By the way, Larry, how's John Ingram doing?
John is fine. In fact, a number of weeks after the reunion, Tom came over, Tom Yancey, John Ingram, and even Tony came up down from Vegas. We had a little party at reunion at my house, and John's doing well. Don't you think so, Tom?
Yeah, but he's doing fine.
Oh.
Yeah. And Tony is still Tony.
Yeah, he's leading the HOA where he lives. in charge of all these clubs. He's on a winemaking club. He brought us 3 bottles of wine that they make themselves. Just, yeah, he is still the man. He's still the man.
Where I
My
live,
bro-
they've got
my brother-
grapevines. They have grapevines where I live, and they used to have what they call a crush, you know, where you smash all the grapes and all that stuff. And evidently it just got too hot for it or something, and the javelinas got in and ate all the grapes. And so now they crush, but they just serve wine. They bring it all in from all different local wineries, you know, and you can try all the different wine and stuff. So,
Yeah, that sounds.
You remember when you used to try to make wine?
I know, I think that was beer and it exploded.
Yeah. You were making some wine, but then you made beer, and you were using regular old quart bottles with screw-on caps. And I came home one evening and they started exploding.
Yeah, in my parents' house.
We got invited to Tony's and Joanne's 50th anniversary, 2 years ago. So we went, and it was a lot of fun. Most of the people are friends that he's met since he's been out there. I mean, his mother is still alive, and his sister.
Wow.
And for some reason, he thought I should make a presentation. Well, I know it was. He was buying the roses for Joanne, which he hadn't ordered 2 days before. 49 red and 1 white.
That was surrender.
50. Oh, that's right. 50 years. Okay.
Mhm.
So I said, you can't wait till the day before. They're not going to have them. But we found one, and then he didn't know what to do with them. That's why he hadn't bought them. So I took him to our hotel room, figuring, oh, they'll let me put it in the cooler in the restaurant. No, they're not letting you put any flowers that you brought in from I don't know where. So we turned our room air down as low as it would go, 62 degrees, and kept them alive. And then I had to smuggle them into the place so she wouldn't see them. But it was fun. They had it at the Italian American Club of Las Vegas. I didn't even know there was one.
Now, they live in Las Vegas or they live in California? Tony.
Tony lives in the
Henderson.
suburb of Las Vegas.
Yeah, he's got
They
a
live in
place
Henderson,
outside
but they've
San
got a
Diego.
place in Corona.
For a while, they were in California, weren't they? They had his daughter lived there or something?
Yeah, that's right.
Janelle still lives there. He still has, I think he has a townhouse in Southern California.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Tony's townhouse is in Del Mar.
Oh,
Yeah.
There are Italians in Las Vegas?
Hard to believe.
Well, he's a
Amazing.
token.
Careful
You know,
what you say, Fred. Yeah.
I saw Tony and Joanne on the Saturday of our reunion, because a lot of us went to Northern. And I was going by the house that I lived at. It was at the corner of College and John. And I remember that when my mom dropped me off in 1965, September, she had taken a picture of me in front of this sign that said College and John. And so Tony and Joanne drive up, and I said, Tony, can you take this picture? And, because I wanted, it's like 50 years later, right? So he did, very gracious as usual. But, it occurred to me, I think it was you, Larry, that said something about before the reunion, everybody send me pictures. I had 0 pictures. I mean, those days, it was kind of like, who walked around carrying a camera?
Yeah.
I think Paul Siles did some stuff for us, and
Charlie
maybe some
Cole.
others.
Randy, do you remember Suburban Estates?
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 apartments there. One was to sleep in, and 2 were to drink yourselves to death and or whatever practice with the
1918 was where,
1918. Yeah.
Yeah.
where Barney and Wilt,
Yeah.
and Wilt always said that the reason he became a lawyer because he studied so hard because he had to go to the library because he couldn't study at home because there was always something going on out there. And Ed Nelson and I sublet one summer. We got a something in 19, around the corner over there somewhere, and lived there for the summer period. When the
That was at Tilton Apartments.
Yeah, Chuck Rounds and I lived at 1918 and 1969. We had the whole, academic year there, and yeah, there were some parties going on. Those are some
Oh,
good
yeah, we
times,
had a few.
guys.
So I'm still in constant contact with Ed Nelson. He lives outside of Milwaukee and has been a teacher his whole career. He still substitutes at the junior college, a couple, 3 days a week. Married Lynn, and she's had some cancer issues, but seems to be doing pretty well. He's exactly like he was in college. Exactly, you wouldn't miss a beat. And the reason he wasn't at the reunion is he had booked a trip with 3 other couples for the exact same weekend. Of course, who books a trip a year ahead of time? Ed. Yeah.
Got to be prepared.
Yeah.
Larry, what's going on with you? Larry?
With me, again, not much going on. The only thing that's interesting and is I'm ahead of a gun club now.
Yeah, I see that on the Facebook.
So, yeah, so a buddy of mine who's moved down here from another place asked if there was shooting down there, and I said, well, I'll find out. And I got 70 guys in a gun club, so I bought myself a shotgun last September, and I'm in the Clay Shooting League, and we run meetings. So being the commander made a difference. So we now, in fact, tomorrow we have a meeting at a gun club, and we've got this doctor who collects machine guns, mortars, and cannon, and he's going to show us what it's all about. So that's been kind of interesting.
Was that you on January 6th? Was that you?
No.
No.
Sorry, no.
I thought that's
I'm a
Larry
good
Boris
guy.
going up to the Capitol.
No, we don't need to get into that here. No.
No.
Now, am I the only guy here that wasn't a Beta Phi?
No, I wasn't. Excuse me. You're right.
You were everything.
Yep. I get confused in my old age.
I'm Eta 65, and I missed out on the Beta Phi years because I'm too young, and I just turned 70 today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, thanks,
Yeah.
mate.
Hell of a deal.
I'm saying 8 to 78.
So you're the oldest one here. I mean, number wise.
I have the highest.
I'm
I have the highest.
76. I
badge
thought
number.
I'm the oldest.
Actually, the oldest one is
you're
right
the
here. Here, just a second. The oldest one is right here.
Oh.
I have
Among
the-
those
I
that are
have
still
the-
breathing, I think I'm the oldest.
I have
You
the
are.
oldest badge
I'm
number.
the highest number.
Yeah.
Who is?
What number were you, Jeff?
78.
Oh, you're
78.
older than me. I'm
I'm
impressed.
Oh, we're talking about badge numbers, Sherwin.
Yeah,
Oh, badge
number.
numbers. Oh, I thought you were talking about age.
Well, nobody's older than you.
Oh.
I'm Theta Eta 504.
Okay.
We're just glad you made it, Sherwin.
I think I'm number 65, if I recall what they sent me,
Yeah.
or 360. I don't remember which.
Yeah.
Larry, yeah, I know that I've got to jump off shortly, but I know that it would probably be a very nice idea if we could reschedule so everybody's on the same time.
Okay.
Because I know that a number of people said they were going to attend, and I don't know where Mike Vorel is, but he said he was going to join in.
He probably
It could be
forgot.
off by an hour because of
Yeah.
daylight savings.
Well, that's the
time.
whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I was
Arizona
mentioning.
doesn't change. Now we're
Right.
at Pacific time, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I sent out the notice, we were on Mountain Time, and now we're on Pacific Time. So
Yeah.
who knows what?
But with Mike, you never know. He and
That's true.
I played golf one day last summer on a Wednesday. And
And he
he's
showed
always
up on Thursday.
Thursday, yeah, he was always, no. A week later, he's always running late. I get this thing from him, says, I'm running late. A week later, he said, I'll be there in about 20 minutes. I'm going, we didn't even have a time set up. So I called him. I said, where are you? He says, oh, I'm in Crystal Lake. I had to stop and get gas. I said, we didn't set up a time. That was last week. And he goes, oh, I said, if you want to do it every Thursday the same time, we can do that, but whatever it was.
Hey, Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
There it is.
Hi, hi.
you
How's
doing?
everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
I guess
Yeah,
everybody
Murphy
is
was
not
here for
coming
a
in now,
second
but
and
now we're late.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Murph.
Yeah.
He was there and then he was gone.
He tried to get out.
He flashed on, he probably saw us and left. Ah.
Wait, who are those old guys? I don't
Yeah,
know.
who are those little guys? I got into some.
Yeah, really.
Senior citizen home. Well, Jerry, we've kind of gone around the table. So you're the young guy on the block now. You're the last one in. So tell us about what you're doing and where you're at and what your life's like now. What's going on?
Well, I'm happy to report that we've been in Texas now for 43 years. It's just
Oh, wow.
great. Live just north of Houston. We also have a condo in Branson, Missouri. We spend most of this
I'll be down in a minute.
spring and summer, fall there. So about half the year.
Mhm.
And we're in good health. Praise the Lord. And no worries. It's a good life. Everything's great.
Gentlemen, I'm going to interrupt because I must leave. I apologize, but I thought we started at 4:00 Central Time, and apparently everybody's dropping in 5:00 Central. And I
Well,
have plans to
Good
be
to
picked
have
up
you
in
here,
a few
Sherwin.
minutes.
Hey, Murphy.
Pardon?
Hey,
Thank you.
Jeff.
And
I got an email that said it starts at 5, and I emailed Larry back and said, this is a change from the last email. And so I assumed it was correct.
You're right on time, Jim. What can I tell you?
Okay, thank you.
You too, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you guys.
All right, Jeff.
So everybody's giving a little background here. So Jeff, why don't you give everybody a background where you're at now and what you're doing and how you got there?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know.
Oh, is it
Inquiring minds want to know.
what I'm doing now?
What you're doing now and how did you get to where you are now? And are you still living in Flossmoor?
Still in Flossmoor.
There's Lowell.
Lowell.
Hi.
You
Yes,
changed.
I'm teaching physical fitness. I have 10 classes a week that I teach, including various forms of yoga, kickboxing, muscular strength and range of motion, and indoor cycling. And I cycle myself.
Hold on a sec.
Yesterday I got in, yesterday was the first warm day we had here. Got up to 52. So I got in 28 miles yesterday. But last season I was able to get in 6 100-mile rides and various other rides. So I'm staying pretty healthy. We have a beautiful garden on our property here in Flossmoor. My wife Gloria is in charge of the Southland Community Garden Walk. So every year, except during the pandemic, we put together the nicest gardens in the area, and people pay as a fundraiser to go around and do that kind of stuff.
So Jeff, is that Homewood Flossmoor?
Yeah, Homewood Flossmoor.
Okay.
And let's see, a couple of weeks ago, got back from a trip from Costa Rica. Anybody been to Costa Rica? I recommend it. Yeah, Gene's been there. Tom, okay. And been, traveling a lot. So been to a lot of the Asian countries and including India and Tibet and China and Bhutan. And not going to the European countries. I don't think anybody's going to be going there for a while.
Yeah, really.
Given what's going on. But life's been pretty sweet. How about who's next? That's me. Oh, and backpacking. I've backpacked 1,100 miles on the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, good for you. That's nice. I was in a spin class one time, and I became the only person in the history of the world to crash a stationary bicycle.
That's quite an achievement.
Yes.
I got Brian Summer here from Australia.
All right,
All
Brian.
right.
Wow.
Hey, Deuce.
Bruce,
That thing under his nose.
Sharon Angana has been looking for you, Deuce.
I heard Engel's voice.
Muted. Oh,
How come he's not just on with us? How come he's not on the Zoom call?
He couldn't get in onto Zoom, so we're doing it through FaceTime.
Oh,
So Brian, tell everybody where you're at here.
Well, I'm at home right now. It's about 9 something. Just to organize.
9:04.
We sold the house, but the people that bought it still have their period. So we're gonna hang around and see what happens with that. But then we're gonna move out west. It's called the Western Slopes. It's kind of like the very, very bottom of like Colorado, and you get a few hills and but no high-rise mountains or nothing, So yeah, other than that, you're just hanging in there, messing with the grandkids and don't make sure they don't tear up too much stuff,
How about you, Jim? Tell us where you're at and what you're doing nowadays.
oh, I'm in Whitesboro, Texas. It's a town of about what it's in years. It's the longest place Carla and I have stayed. And over my career, I started out immediately graduating, going in the basic training and serving in the National Guard. And during my Guard years, I worked with my father as a machinist, which took me to New Ponce, Illinois, and then to Little Rock, Arkansas. And that was me for my major, which was electronics and education. So I product development for 10 years in Little Rock, and then got a job in elevator industry doing the same thing, and lived in Russellville, Arkansas, and then Chicago, Illinois. I lived in Streamwood for over 10 years. That kind of faded out in 2003. So without a job in hand, Carla and I moved to Oklahoma in Owasso, because we had some relatives there on her side of the family. And my last boss in Chicago decided he called the HR people in Tulsa and said, you got to hire this guy in Owasso. So I spent 6 years working with Terex and Redrill on the biggest mining trucks in the world that haul 400 tons per load, designing electrical systems. And I got to travel to China and a variety of other places, problem solving. And I retired. Let's see, the company was eventually bought, and then they were bought by Caterpillar. So 6 years ago in Denison, Texas, where I'd worked for 10 years, I retired from Caterpillar. And I've been on my own with Carla. We have 2 boys. Both have PhDs in chemistry. One's teaching college level chem, and the other is a manager of molecular imaging for the University of Alaska. And I have a 120-year-old house I work on, and I'm almost done with a very long novelette. I've been into writing the last 4 or 5 years, which is my final frontier.
Well, we've been talking, Jim, about someone writing about the history of Beta Phi and what really went on. Are you including that in your novel?
I blocked some of that out.
The last time I remember seeing you, Jim, is we were having a party when Chuck Rounds and I were living at 1918 Suburban Estates, and my date stayed over with me, and we got up the next morning, and she went up to use the bathroom, and you were sleeping in the tub.
Oh yeah,
behind the shower curtain. But you look you maintained your dignity throughout.
I might have been a pledge.
Yeah, you might have.
Yeah.
How about you, Lowell? Why don't you tell everybody what you've been up to, where you're at?
I just got back. I was in Aspen skiing.
Oh, nice.
So I got back last night. I'm a little
Good to see
dragged
you
out.
all.
But I said, at my age, I can still do diamonds. So I figured that's pretty good.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. So that's it. My kids are doing fine. My wife is doing fine. And my younger son is now the head of a national fraternity. And matter of fact, was last week he talked to President Zelensky. So it's kind of a very impressive thing. And
Wow.
that's it. My other son, he's a consultant and he tells big corporations what to do. And he says, if they listen, the executives get the credit. And if something goes wrong, he gets the blame. So that's what he gets paid for.
Consulting.
It's normal American bureaucracy.
So have you fully retired yet, Lowell?
No. I'm keeping my marriage going by going to work.
Good strategy.
I said, 2 years ago, we were in Aspen when the pandemic broke out. We came home and we looked at our house and my wife said to me, okay, we got 4 levels in our house. And as long as we're on 2 different levels at the same time, this thing will work out.
That's great.
So
you're saying you
I
haven't seen
said
her in
after
2
1
years?
month of shutdown, I said, I went back to work, but I have my store still and my factory and everything, but I work about 4 to 5 hours a day. That's it.
Good. Al
So
Berman,
my wife now calls it my hobby.
Al, good to see you, and Jim. So take yourself off mute, Al. Al, you're on mute. There you go.
Aha. Thank you
Hi, Al.
for putting this together. Appreciate your hard work and for your invitation. Good to see many of you for the second time since the mid-60s. I have been retired myself for the last 12 years. I had a real exerting career as an accountant and retired from that in the about 12 years ago. And I'm still doing tax returns now for friends and family, but I don't charge them. Got 3 kids, 6 grandkids. And thank God life has been,
Where are you
good
living?
for me.
Where are you living?
I'm living in Northbrook, northern suburb of Chicago. And been here about same number of years that I've been retired. So my youngest moved out also about 12, 13 years ago. And we sold that house and bought a ranch. So just trying to enjoy myself and keep up with old friends. And thanks to Larry's efforts, I'm able to do it. Fred, I want to say hi to you. I missed you when Randy hosted us at his club, but it's good to see you. And
You too.
what have you been doing since the mid-60s? I missed your, oh, no, I came in.
Is this Al Bierman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. How come you got all the hair? What happened here? Well, you and Fred. Now Fred needs a haircut.
But I also got half the teeth in my mouth are false. My back ain't work shit. I got trifocals and 2 hearing aids. So the hair I'll pick.
Great to see you, Al.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, good to
I
see you.
lived in 1918 too, also
That's right.
at Suburban. With
That's right.
Barney, Will Castro.
Who, can I ask a question? Who was in that apartment again? It was you and Barney and Sherwin,
No, Sherwin didn't live in there.
I thought Rick Pariser lived there.
No.
Rick Pariser.
Rick
Okay.
Pariser.
No.
Somebody lived there that I took Wilt and Barney were living there, and I took someone's place, but I don't think he was a fraternity guy.
Yeah.
I just don't remember. And
Yeah.
then the next year, we live with a guy, Mike Solar. It's all guy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mike Solar, yeah. He was a roommate of mine also at 1918, along with Chuck.
Yeah. Do we have any parties there?
All I remember,
Actually,
We're on
Bill,
Tuesday.
Mama told me not to come.
when I was a
I met
pledge,
my, bride.
I think Lowell and I had a rack out at 1918, and we were told
Oh,
they were going to burn a virgin over the tire in the middle of the apartment, if I remember that.
Dance of the Virgins.
oh.
The 40 weight, good to see you.
Yeah. So I had two things going for me socially. One, I was over 21, so I was able to buy kegs and stuff.
Ah,
Two, we had the apartment where we could do whatever we wanted, and we did. But that's where I met my wife. We just celebrated our 51st, and still going strong.
good, good.
When I first met Rick Paris, the first thing he did was show me his badge and his gun. And I said, "Well, that's pretty good stuff. That's cool."
He was, what was it, the Illinois?
For the Illinois Bureau of Investigation or something like that.
Yes.
He said he had a case he was on and all this kind of caper, and I said, "Oh, that sounds interesting."
Yeah.
I think the IBI has been disbanded.
Yeah, maybe it was the drug enforcement or something,
Mm-hmm.
because he knew where to look.
Yeah.
Go ahead, 40 weight.
Is he the
Yeah.
one badge kept popping out at parties? As it-
40 weight, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So working, my end's working okay?
Yeah, you're doing
Hey,
good.
40 weight.
Okay, good to see you guys.
So 40 weight, what have you been doing most recently?
Most recently,
Yes.
we had a trip to Mexico at the end of January, but it
Oh,
was like,
nice.
that was a bad time to leave the country. It's like they might not let us in for 5 days or whatever, so we put that off, and we're going the same trip, first week of April.
Mhm.
We'll enjoy some hot weather for a while there. Otherwise, just hitting the gym 4 times a week and waiting for the golf season to start. Nothing too
Mhm.
interesting.
Has Trump finished building the wall yet?
Yeah, he's working on it as we speak.
You see?
Well, you have to remember some of the logic behind that. The Chinese built a wall over 2,000 years ago, and they still don't have any Mexicans.
Yeah. it'll work.
It's a bigger wall.
We were on a cruise.
Oh,
in
gosh.
2016, and we were sitting with some Canadians and Australians, and they were talking about, this was before Trump was elected, and they were talking about Trump, who was talking about building the wall. And I said, well, and to the Canadians, I said, well, there's a strategy involved here that if Trump does win the election, the United States was going to be building a wall on the Canadian border to keep, or Canada was going to be building a wall on the border to keep people from emigrating from the US. But I hung around anyway.
Oh, jeez.
I forgot about not forgot, but we had that nice 2.5-hour luncheon. Was it middle of December that Fred kind of pushed us all into doing, and then had a issue that he couldn't make it. But would we have nine people there? Couple.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we had a good crowd there, Randy. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
Nice of Fred to pick that up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I will. No, I had to go in for an emergency and yeah, almost bled to death, to be honest with you.
Wow.
No, the problem I'm having is a blood clotting issue. And that's supposedly the first line of defense is clot the blood, and it just wasn't working. But anyway, no, I was in the OR at that moment. So sorry, you have to try it again.
One of the people that was there that I hadn't seen since school, and we walked in the front door of the club we were at, 50 yards away, Glenn Carson. I mean, he looks exactly the same.
Wow.
Wow.
In education. Ken Carlson was there.
Yeah.
Anybody that we didn't see at
Well,
Irv Anderson was supposed to come, and about a half hour after, his wife called and said that he had hard car trouble. I think the car trouble was he got lost or something like that. So he was supposed to show up. At Lowell was there, and
yeah.
Al told a joke that we don't have time to get into that, but that was one of the best ones I heard in a long time. Sucked us all in.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a good time. 40 Weight was there. Who else?
Oh, Lowell was there.
Yeah, Lowell was there.
Yeah.
Sherman was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a good time. It was a good seeing people.
Ken
Brad,
Carlson.
Brad, I'm sorry to hear you went through that. Is it best now? I mean,
I couldn't hear you.
I said, I'm sorry to hear you went through the bleeding issue. Is that
Yeah,
something
it's
that's gonna get resolved?
yeah, it's been a recurring problem here in the last 3 or 4 years, but it actually prompted me to retire. I thought I was going to be here at Western Illinois University for the next 3 or 4 years, easy, and it just didn't work out. But no, to be honest with you, I've had wonderful opportunities. Voice over the phone from Oklahoma University, Boston College. Like I said, I had this opportunity to teach at Oxford this summer in the UK. Besides the provost opportunity that came along, but I'm still director of the Illinois Council for Social Studies. I'm still an editor for the quarterly edition. I still have work to do, but still it's not helping my golf game, and it's not. And I, be honest with you, I wish all of us could meet at some pub someplace, the King's Arms or something like that, and just by Jerry and everyone there a nice cup of tea and go from there. I got too many memories with all of you. I want to open it, like Jerry was trying to help me with a midterm in marketing, and 240 was at 249 marketing, and I was going nowhere with my elementary education, just doing flashcards and colors, I remember, and Jerry was getting impatient. But anyway, just wish all of you the Lord's blessings. I feel like all of you made me in some way, shape, or form. Quite honestly, I about a month ago, I had that final realization where when the priest came in to do last rites, I thought, well, so I'm just honored to be here and with all of you at this time, and I hope to see you hopefully at the golf outing. What is it, on June 25th? If not, I think Kevin Kezier is supposed to be putting something together here soon. So
I just got an email. I just got an email on that yesterday.
Yeah. But anyway, but we'll have to start another chapter house upstairs when the time comes.
The same grad guy that did it last year. So that's out there coming, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brad? Oh, can't hear. Brad?
Sir?
It says, I'm sorry the medical procedure turned your hair so white.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Amazing. Just amazing. What a shock.
Actually, I was going to try out for Bozo Circus on WGN, but they didn't want me. I was too tall.
I still think you're just a tall Art Garfunkel, that's all.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say that.
But
Oh, I should say something. I was at
That's-
Ohio State
Yeah,
and
Paul
this guy
Simon is calling.
thought I was Art Garfunkel. So he went and bought a whole round for all of us at Indiana State. We were there for a research project. And he said, I just want to let Art Garfunkel, everyone there, know how much I've appreciated the words of wisdom and sound of silence and all that. And I just looked at him. He said, well, I'm not Art Garfunkel. And he, remember, he just stood up and left, you know. Unbelievable. Oh, the big, oh, wait a minute. Here, gentlemen, this actually happened. I was in Tokyo. They have what is called, if any of you have been in Japan, they have what is called the prince and the princess constellations coming together. It's the summer solstice. So like our Rose Parade, they bring all the Buddhist temple paraphernalia out and everything. And so they're having this big parade, and this Yoshima family that I was staying with said, Freddie, you've got to see this. This is like your Rose Parade. Oh, yeah, fine. So I was there for about, 2 months or so. And we got up high in this bleacher section, and all these parades were coming through, and just swordsmen and just, drummers and all this. It's just spectacular stuff. Anyway, to make a long story short, they looked at me and they said, don't you want to see the Buddhist temple before the sun goes down? And I said, I'm following you. So we walked all the way down these risers. We must have been up 100 risers or something. It's like being on the top of Soldier Field. We came down to the street level, and this policeman stopped us and he said, you can't go across towards the subway just yet. We've got to let this float pass us. And while the float was going past us, they had national television on right there with the camera. And someone in the audience said, Art Garfunkel. And as soon as that happened, you could see it spread in the audience. Everyone was saying, Art Garfunkel, Art Garfunkel, Art Garfunkel, Art, and it went right up through the stands. And this guy heard this with a microphone, this announcer, and he swings the camera around like this, and here I'm sitting there, and he says, Art Garfunkel, and he hands me the microphone, and I'm talking on national television.
A song.
And I said,
Garfunkel.
yeah, and I said,
you say it?
Art Garfunkel, and I said, I'm greatly honored to be in the island nation of Japan. God bless all of you. And the whole audience, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of people were on their phones, and they saw that, and they all stood up like this, and they all just bowed. And I bowed back to thousands of people, and the Yoshimas looked at me and said, Fred, let's get the hell out of here. And I handed the microphone, and they went, honor. So I went out, and I got back to the University of Tokyo, and all of my colleagues looked at me and they said, how in the hell did you get on national television? We're watching the parade. And anyway,
Somewhere in
great honor.
in the world is Art Garfunkel, and they're saying, Fred Eisel. It's Fred Eisel.
Oh,
They
Fred,
didn't
Fred,
ask you to
you
sing
should have
anything.
just said, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
Eddie,
I'll do
Jeffrey,
autographs next week if you wish, but
Garfunkel's-
anyway.
Well,
anyway,
it's like
enough.
Gee,
That's a
Fred,
great
I'll lead
story.
your guitar.
Great story, Fred.
I'm finding out at our age, we say, hello, darkness, my old friend. I stood up too fast again.
Sounds about right.
Jeez.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, by the way, when did Barney pass away?
Probably year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. When what was it, the 50th, Larry, you had schedule.
Yeah.
And that was the occasion I talked to Wilt then, and I tried calling Barney, and it rang and there was never an answer or a voicemail or whatnot. Finally, I looked, I'm not too good on the internet, but I tried looking him up. I remember he was from Moscow, Pennsylvania. And I checked around there, and then I saw a funeral, announcement. So
Hmm.
Arnie was a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Well, as he
Yeah.
was for everybody, but
Huh, good guy. Well, I got to tell you, when I was putting together that presentation, the memorial of everybody who had passed since the start of eternity, I had to double check on the obits, but there was one I had up there, and the guy called me later. He said, I had dinner with that guy last week, so I don't think you got the right one. And I went back to the obit, and it turned out it was his brother. So not good. But there was still a lot of guys like, it's like Bill Lohr. For years, I tried to track down Bill Lohr, couldn't find him. We found an obit from him.
John Farnetti too.
Yeah, Farnetti, yeah. So it was sad. I mean, we're more guys than I had expected as well.
Yeah, Ron Konzerski passed away.
Yeah.
If you remember Ron. Yeah, big Ron.
I remember Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he passed away a few months ago.
So we'll try to keep track.
You guys remember a time in our lives when all we talked about was getting laid?
Yeah. I actually remember that.
I don't remember getting laid, but I do.
We talked a lot about it, yeah.
There's a great story about Barney. You guys probably all know this story about, Barney's out at 1918. There's a party, and one of the dates goes into the bathroom, and she's looking for the toilet paper, and then this arm comes out from behind the curtain, and it's Barney holding the toilet paper for her. That was one of the.
That's how we used to pick up girls, right?
Yeah, that's Barney, he was a trier, he was always trying to get in the game, that's for sure.
Barney wasn't his real name. Randy, did you give him that name?
No, it was a bunch of us watching TV.
Right.
There was some movie down there, and whoever was on TV reminded us of him, and so we just started calling him Barney. And forever, you would introduce him to somebody, and he would say, "My name's really not Barney," and he try to say, you couldn't get through, huh?
Not Barney. No.
Oh,
that would be a long distance call.
That's Mike Vorel. He said and so I sent it to his email, but said he didn't get it.
Well, guys, we're going out for my birthday for dinner, so I've got to sign off. But it was good to see a lot of you guys. Good to see 40 weight. Ooh, ah, 40 weight. Ooh, ah.
Yeah, not too many people know my real name.
Fortran T. Weight.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, happy birthday. Have a great time.
Happy birthday.
Very happy birthday.
God be with all of you.
Celebration.
Yeah. Larry, how much more time do we have on the docket here?
On the docket, well, we probably got another 20 minutes or so if people
Okay.
stay on.
Okay.
And because of the screw up with the time zone, some people came a little early and some are here now, which is good. And some people still didn't call in, which I'm a little disappointed, but as Sherman said, we'll try to do this again in a few more months and try to get more people coming at the same time. It's good. It's just good to connect, see who's still walking around and who's available, who's chatting.
Larry,
Jim Long sent me a note and was, wanting to see if we were going to have a get together. And I was telling him that you were organizing something. Larry, did you hear from Jim Long?
I did not. No, I mean, I have his email, so I did send something out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're a lot of guys. Said like Vorel, Mike Lewin too. Somebody else I thought we'd connect with.
Yeah, Mike said he didn't get the link, so I was sending it to him, and now he said he still didn't get my email. So
Larry,
anybody hear from Ed Nelson?
I talk to him all the time. Yeah, I don't know if you were on before. Yeah, he lives outside of Milwaukee and has been a teacher his whole career and still does substitute teaching at a junior college whenever, 2-3 days a week. Exactly like you remember him exactly.
Still married to, what's her name, Lynn?
Yep, married Lynn. She's had a thing with cancer, but evidently doing pretty well. And they never had children. They got cats.
Oh, boy.
Maybe they were doing something wrong.
So 40 weight, how did you get that name?
RJ gave it to me. Rick Gajewski.
Oh,
And he was from Crete Monee High School, and that was a South Suburban nickname for a greaser, which I wasn't. But since I was from the South Side of Chicago, I must have been. He just started calling me the 40 weight. Everybody else picked up on it.
did you say Chet Guy? Did you say Chet Gajewski?
No,
Yeah.
Rick Gajewski.
Rick
Gajewski, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
RJ, Rick the Jag.
Yep.
Mm.
That's what it meant.
Yeah.
Well,
How much, anyone know anything about Chet Galizio?
Oh, that's a blast from the past. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know he was went in the military.
He was in the Marines.
Yeah.
Or
It's the last
well,
I heard of him.
Or Bruce Cruz?
Oh, my God.
Bruce Cruz.
Or Tom McNicholas?
Yeah, I was thinking of Tom McNicholas. He's one of the original.
Yeah. Or
Bill Webb.
he was a mean alcoholic.
how about Keith Fish?
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
that's a great guy.
Yeah, he was a terrific guy.
Yeah. He was he came out of Vietnam not doing very well. I was his pledge father, and he came and lived with us for a little bit, and it was not good. He finally got married and went out to the West Coast somewhere, and I just we gotten ourselves detached a little bit. But Ron Konzerski, on the other hand, I was since we share Catholicism, I was the godfather of his two sons, and his Ronnie, who was born blind, is now a Catholic priest up in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and doing well. But he called and he said, just to let you know, Dad passed away down in New Mexico just before the Christmas holiday break. But anytime I talk with Ron, which is not that frequently, but he always wanted to talk about Beta Phi this and Beta Phi that, and interesting stuff.
Sure.
How about Jack Johnson? Whatever had to
Beats the hell out of me, Fred.
So Jack, it's actually John Johnson, right?
That was actually my name, but when I got to NIU and I had to introduce myself as a freshman as John Johnson, I thought, man, that's the dumbest name ever. And so one of my friends suggested, why don't you just use Jack? If it's good enough for Jack Kennedy, it's good enough for you. So I've been Jack ever since.
Yeah. How about John Bell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked to him before the reunion. He just didn't come.
Yeah.
But we had contact with him.
He's still doing a midnight shift on some radio station somewhere.
I don't
remember. And Denny Sokol?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Denny was at the reunion, and he and John Bell still see each other, I think, or at least they communicate.
Yeah.
How about Hank Kawa?
Oh, Hank Kawa, yeah.
Well, Hank supposedly moved to Arizona, but I couldn't track him down. Same with Ron Wammeldorf. I tried to find him too.
Oh, gosh.
I had his old email address and didn't get any answer that way, and then kind of looked him up, and he lives supposedly in some little tiny town in northeast Arizona somewhere. Never could get a phone number or an email address or anything.
How about Jerry Ryden?
Jerry Ryden is
He's right here.
There he is.
There he is.
Jerry was another jock, just like Gene, the two of them. Those are the two jocks in the house outside of
Yeah. Jerry, who did you room with in the house?
Well, I was in a kind of a suite with Gutman and Deuce
Okay.
and Fredrickson.
Yeah, Scott Fredrickson. Yeah.
Yeah, we were faction B, if you remember our little T-shirts that Bill Laura had.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kevin Kedzier, I don't really know him, but I had made some comments on Facebook, something about the Ronsons. And we're laughing about the Ronsons, and he's coming and saying, "What is this Ronson stuff?"
Department D crowd with Tim Eichler and RJ and John White.
How about
in there for a while, but he moved out.
Yeah. How about Jim Franson?
Oh my God! Yeah, Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
Yeah, I remember Pathfinder. Yeah. Remember we sent him to Paw Paw, Illinois?
Yeah, we went
to find something.
Yeah, he was Ugly Pierre, and he had to wait at a hotel in across the river in Iowa, somewhere, Dubuque or someplace. I don't know. And we had 10 cents to make.
That was Sokol.
And we just had to ask for Ugly Pierre.
That was Denny Sokol.
Who's that, Sokol?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Sokol, yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh,
Yeah. Branson had
We were in the diner in Wyoming.
He had a record player. He put a record on, and it just skipped all over the place.
He was way ahead of his time. Had the first CD player there. That's right.
Yeah. It was a blue Impala, blue
Yeah, it
66
was, yeah.
Impala Chevy.
That's right.
With the big block. Oh,
So,
good grief.
Brad Summers, were you with Bill Laura and Hank Kawa when they came out to see me in California after I got out of the Marine Corps and I was working? Were you part of that group that came down to see me? We all went down to Mexico, took a film where we were like banditos. It was a work of art. I'm surprised not more of you have seen it. Was that you?
Brian?
No.
Brian, was that you?
Yeah.
No, I wish it was though.
We did have a good time. I think we drank some beer, we smoked some doobies, and talk about well, anyway, that was it.
You still have that film somewhere, Jack?
I think I still do have it somewhere, but I'm not sure it will still operate. But I should check it out.
Yeah.
For sure. We'll post it on the alumni site.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Do all of you remember John Kilpatrick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we miss Kildare. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was quite a few years ago now that he passed.
Yeah.
But probably 10 years, something like that.
Oh, more than that.
It was more than that. I was still working. I had something going at school and I couldn't go because I know Tony and a couple other some of you guys took the truck out to Western Illinois to go to the wake.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go, but there was something going on at school that I couldn't get away from.
John was
Yeah.
I remember, well, probably 15 years ago, 14, 15.
Well,
The one memory I have with John was that, remember we came in with that party, Halloween party thing, and he came in as the brick layer, and his wife
was the brick. Yes.
came in as the brick.
It was very imaginative.
I think that's the one where Jeff came in as Tarzan with Jane. Was that right?
Cheers.
I shouldn't talk. I came in as a Catholic nun, I think. Jewish nun, something like that.
I think the beard gave you away.
Kind of stereotyping or something.
I don't know. I just remember there was another one. I was Peter Pan with a Tinkerbell. I don't remember her, but I remember I had to stop my folks from looking at the fraternity yearbook to see the kind of women I was going out with. Not Jewish girls at all. So that was the problem.
Oh
I
gosh.
remember we were sitting around one time watching Sesame Street or something, and somebody just says, it's really, this is so much fun. It's just too damn bad we have to go to class. We just get rid of the classes. This would be perfect.
Well,
336 Augusta, we used to all get down there in the afternoon after class and listen to the riflemen.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Young.
We all start talking about them. Hey,
Yeah.
Jack. Hey,
Jack Johnson, help
Yeah.
me. Did you work in St. Charles for a while at that Bad Boys School?
No, that was Randy and Chuck Rounds.
Chuck
worked
Rounds.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, they did.
not this Randy, somebody else.
Yeah. Randy, who was in that first pledge class of yours? That was Paul Siles, Chet Galizio.
No, it was a 9. I was a second class.
Don't go there.
Oh, that was the second class?
Yeah,
no.
it was the best class.
Yeah, that was the best class. Yeah.
Larry and I were in the first class.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And Fred Novarini.
Fred Novarini.
He
Yeah.
was in the first class. It was with Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ran into Denny Sokol. I don't know. Tony had a thing at his house long before he moved to Las Vegas, but he had it up here in Wonder Lake. And for some reason, Denny Sokol came in for it. And
Wow.
he was wearing his pledge hat and had his pledge book. He said, I wore it every day to work because you told me never take it off. And, you know, I'm glad somebody-
Great.
But he was the one, he was dating Sherry, who was also an AZD, and that was how I got to blind date with Karen in 4 years ago or whatever it was. But they didn't get married, but when he saw Karen, he called her, they were still friends 25 years later. What was her name, Karen? Sherry Genowiak, okay.
All right, guys, we've got to we'll lock off now, but I'll send you a note for the next time in a few months and we'll try to get everybody back together again.
Yeah,
Thanks for putting this together, Larry.
Anybody hears emails of anybody, let us know. And I recorded this, so I'll send a link out to you guys too. You can take
No,
it.
I'll forward it on to-
Take care, everybody. Stay well. See you next time.
Thanks, Larry.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Good to see you guys.
God bless.
I gotta figure out a log off.